say that you have to do this in the very, very beginning. Yeah? I mean, some of those horses, it might be that you don't just briefly walk and you start trotting and you get them over the back and then you do this more at the end. But when we have just 2 lessons, I want to point it out that you for sure should not fall into that trap that what she offers that you take that immediately. Huh? And the other part is that very often, I mean, we worked one over with Melissa, I worked one with the lady Natasha, a Swedish lady from Sioux Falls or Sioux City she is. And it was the same thing. First couldn't really walk, but then after every day, you know, exactly, you see already that part. And the point is not that you have to make her walk. It's more the point that when she does this, that you open the door. Huh? I'm not saying driving much or so, that's not what I mean. Especially if she then would start trotting. It just can be that you sit quiet there and you wait a little bit. But when those moments come like that, then you need to give her the freedom. Then you need to encourage her that she drops that neck and makes that neck long, because that's what makes a walk as good as each horse has. You cannot make that walk better than what a horse has. That most horses are not walking as good because the rider does not let the horse walk. And in this case, it's the breed logically, similar like with the Iberian horses, the Spanish horses, also very often the case. Sure, they have a shorter walk, but very often it's from the whole work that gets done that it gets even worse. And you need logically, when this is the weak part, then you need logically to do not anything that makes that even weaker. Oh, it's good. And I don't mean to do this right now, but in the long run, when the leg yielding, for example, is more, she's more familiar with that, but very often it helps those horses a little bit through that leg yielding to drop the top line, to flex a little bit. That leads again to the point that they want to drop the top line. So very often that's a step where you can do actively a little bit something to encourage them to let the top line down. Right now, logically it doesn't make sense because the leg yielding is so new for her, she rather would hold her more. So, and then you look for one of those moments, like that one. So when you have a couple of times a moment like that, then you prepare yourself and you prepare herself for a little bit, whether you can get that moment to start trotting. Huh?
If I give the aids to trot and in that moment and she's gold, do I reprimand right away or give her to the double?
No. In that case, it's not the point aid and reprimand. In that case, you want to see how you're thinking along those lines. Huh? In that moment, it's logically the point that you say, ideally would be if she takes that going down in the neck into the trot. To a reprimand, she immediately will come up. So from that point of view, it's not the time to do a reprimand, especially that early in the session, you do that later. You rather say a little bit, okay, in this case, I'm hoping that she combines that when she was several times down with the neck and stretched in the walk down, if I hit that right moment, I have a chance that maybe she takes that into the trot step and therefore immediately says, hey, when I went down with my neck in the walk, why should I not try to get down also in the trot? Oh. Not a big deal, yeah? And then go rising. And then make gradually a drop down. Tempo first, quiet, because now we did not have the lunging. The range shorter, but so that you just feel them out very soft. Oh, there. Oh, there. This is their first compromise fighting. Huh? You can check a little bit. If you are lighter with the rein, you for a moment even would be loose in the rein, and she would rather drop the top line. That's what I mean with compromise. Huh? It would logically not come directly from the 8, but it would be nothing wrong at this point to encourage her through that a little bit. In the long run, it has to come logically as a result of the 8. But if you, for example, would think differently, the rider would think, oh, no, like it's always saying, a loose rein is not a contact, and in dressage we want to have always a contact. But therefore she would stay longer up, and it would, in the training at that moment, not be as beneficial as if you keep the rein a little bit more and she goes more frequently down, and after a couple of minutes you can make down there contact when she stays down. If on the other hand that would go too long, that you just say, well, I'm going here 5 minutes and another 5 minutes and I'm just waiting, and once in a while she goes down, well, that would not be worth it. Yeah? Then you would have to just switch your goal. Then the goal would not be that she's going down. Then you basically change the goal and say, I give her as perfect as possible contact left and right, and start working her between leg and hand a little bit, even when she then first doesn't go down. Then you make gradually more the emphasis on, or the topic on coming gradually with the reprimand a little bit, or when she is in contact, flexing a tiny little bit, or whatever. I mean, when you think about, there are 1,000 things that a horse has to learn. So my point is, you look at that point, what seems to be the most successful part, that it also does not destroy the first steps of the scale of training. Oh. Good. And a moment walk again. Good job. So now, what we logically always, especially in the basic training, have to have in our mind. As you know, that's another thing that I forgot from my lecture. What I call the most important dressage reflex. What we want to, and I know you know, again before our friends, the most important dressage reflex, what I mean with this is that what's the most important thing that the horse, dressage horse, has to learn is the step. I have to go forward from my rider's leg immediately. Now the second part comes, and connect to my rider's hand. What leads then to going into the bridle. The important part, the first step there, is first connecting with it, going onto the hand. So, that means whenever there is a situation that you can bring that across, you won't logically need to look for it. That's easy to say, but in a lot of cases it's logically not possible. Like, for example, you put the leg on, you get no answer. You reprimand, you get an answer, but the head comes up. After a couple of times you might have not to reprimand so much, but the horse's head is coming up still. So then we logically have only one part yet, but not the second part. So what you can do here already, that you use those moments, as soon you have the feeling, she gets a little more interested to drop the top line, not when it just happens once in a while. But if you have the feeling it happens a little more frequently, that the moment she drops the top line, you come with your leg a little bit, not too much, even when she in that moment movement does not go totally from the leg, but that you combine a little bit your leg with her going down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I know, but not skipping to the, like, the hand without leg part first, or just adding the leg already?
Say again?
So, in the moment where she goes down, showing that the door's open, and at first not squeezing, so she gets used to...
Yeah, I mean the first step is, for example, you want to put the leg first so on that she is not coming from that leg up anymore. That would be the most simple part of it. Regarding the hand, if you feel that she rather drops more while your range is almost slack in that moment, then that is fine. If you, on the other hand, have the feeling by when she's already going down, stimulating the mouth a little bit, coming slightly with the in or outside range, and through that little feeling of the bit, she rather moves her neck, and through this she rather pushes downward, then that's logically even better. But if that touch with the mouth would be that she's backing off of that, then it logically would not be what you're looking for, because then she would give you exactly the answer what we don't want. You put your leg on, and she comes up. That's actually the most difficult phase, because everything is so, yet nothing is established. Everything is so wishy-washy still. And so therefore there are a lot of situations I want to point out too, where you logically cannot bring that across. When I said the most important dressage reflex, then I did not want to express through this, that's the only thing that you should work on. Because very often that would be too elusive. You have maybe, in 5 minutes, you have maybe 10 situations where that happens. Well, that's not work to do too much, but I'm saying that when that moment is there, that the rider realizes, that's the moment where you are seeing also the coins, upper body comes back, you would have the feeling with your coins, with your leg to say, well, come on, go on to it. And you pat her in the next moment, if you have then even the one or the other situation where she answers it correctly. You wait again for that moment where she drops the top line, and then you start dropping again. And realize, again, between that loose rein or having contact, the better thing is logically in general having contact. I didn't mean that I'm saying, oh no, don't have a contact. I'm only saying, if you, for example, at a certain point, realize by being looser with the rein, she in 1 minute goes 5 times down, and if you have contact, in 1 minute she goes 1 time down, then it's at a certain point worth to beat them for moments loose, especially in the beginning of the session. But when you realize like now, it looks like she has not shown much of that interest to go down, then it's more important that you make a contact, so that she feels the contact, that she gets used to that you can study more for her what is for her the right contact on the left and the right way. And if you can actively do something with the hand, with actively I don't mean pulling or holding, but I mean stimulating. If you feel there's a possibility that you can stimulate the mouth so that through that stimulus the horse is rather pushing into it, then there's nothing wrong with that. Yes. Reins not too long, that when she shortens the neck, that you have then not the elbows totally behind you. That you, as a basic part, you rather have the hands a little more, the elbows stretched out, so that when she suddenly shortens the neck, that you come back with the hand and your elbows are just on your side, but not behind you. But shorter with the rein does not mean tighter with the rein. It only means that the rein length is a little shorter. Oh yeah. So now gradually I also would logically look over the next couple of minutes a little bit at the reprimand. I mean, if she looks nice forward, I'm not saying that. Principally you have to reprimand, but just when I first said in the beginning, not so much aid and reprimand. Now you come gradually there, where you, for example, if you come with the leg and she's not giving much answer, where you then don't want to let her get dealt to the leg, but you rather come and remember from yesterday when I came up with the leg. You can do that too, if it is necessary. It's not should be a fine line, because I'm saying here now, not yesterday where I was when I came up, it was a clear black and white aid and reprimand. In that early stage of the session, after not being lunch, I'm not saying that it has to be 100% black and white. But if there's a situation where you one step squeeze, and the next step you reprimand a little bit, and the next moment you reprimand, and there is nothing coming, then you need to make early your decision. Is it maybe one time necessary to clear the air and coming so sharp that you have then for 5 minutes rather a good response? Then you have to do that. If that is not necessary, I rather would prefer not having to do that. So if it's just that you say, I have to be a little stronger with my leg on than what I would feel I would like to, but she gives me then actually okay to good response to it, that would be fine. Then the reprimand would not have to be too extreme. And now you also want gradually that contact so that you can react quicker, that when she is round, that you are not just letting her up every time when she wants to come down, and when she comes up again. With this I don't mean not allowing rain in, first a little bit through a little finesse, checking out is there something, how you can keep her interested in that hand, that she maintains that contact. Change direction. But again, to understand me right here, when I'm saying doing something actively with the hand, I mean that in that case, in the first place, that when she is round like that, that you see that you are not just staying passive. If she comes round and the next moment coming up, she somehow must gradually recognize being round, reaching down is better than being up. If it feels for the horse the same, whether they go down or come up, if there's no change, then it's more or less like lottery. You want a little bit to see, what could I do? She is down and wants the next moment to come up. Is there a possibility, logically, with all the 8 moves? Maybe the first one is, in general, logically, the more forward riding in that moment. But sometimes also it can be that you just keep one arm a little bit, stabilized a little bit, or you're asking that moment a tiny little bit of flexing or counter flexing or so. That's a little bit the finesse factor to see, can I keep her involved with my hand a little bit? Oh. What logically has to happen when you reprimand like over there, and she does not give, she gives you all, let's say, that way, and she gives you only that much hands off the reprimand. That's where you cannot accept it. Huh? That's where you get the horses then dull from the reprimand, because finally all the weapons are used and the horses say, well, that was all, that's all I have to count on. Well, then I ignore that. Oh. Oh, it's nice. And those quick reactions are not very, very important. Huh? When and she wants to come up, that you're quick enough in your reaction, whatever that is, whether it's a little more forward driving, or whether at that moment quicker supporting with the rein and say, no, 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 you stay there. Oh, there, there, oh. Good so. Good, well, there, good so. And in that situation, for example, you would not, for this situation right now, you would at that point not worry, for example, if she is a little bit curled up. More important there is first that she does not go down and comes up again, and down and comes up again. So if you therefore, a few minutes, have her a little rounder, and she would be a little curled up, but you feel less and less she is coming up, that would be more important. And then when she's not trying to come up so much anymore, then you need logically to address that she's not so curled up, but is again with that brain very, very difficult to get that neck gradually a little bit more out there. All right? Oh yeah. Say your reaction must come before her action comes. That's the ideal situation. That sounds for the layperson like, well, how can I do that? Well, because before her head is coming up, you sitting on her. Before she comes up with the head, you can feel already something in the back, you can feel already something on your hand. Okay, that will happen. And very often it's not even in the horse, very often you can predict it that always on a certain point of the arena that happens. So a correction for a professional always has to come before it happens. With the amateur we're happy when they are getting it just briefly after it happens. Because when you're logically around riding so many horses, then you cannot be so quick. But under no circumstances can the correction happen after it's already done, after she's already about to bid. Oh. Good. Whatever side is the easier one, we're also going to the canter. Now, when you go in the other direction, then logically don't start cantering immediately. Make first sure that that canter, the trot is so that for that side it's as smooth as you can get it. And for that you need logically a little bit to keep on the outside rein a little bit together. When those horses, when we let them fall apart or so, then they almost cannot canter at all. So you need in this case, look just before the canter, first a little bit the inside flexing, outside arm is stable, you put a little bit under pressure, you hold it together, and then you release on the inside right in the moment of the transition. jump still in the canter. Those guys, when they are already hard and long, they cannot find the canter at all anymore. So you need to think of, you want to hold the energy together. You want to make her, why you hold her together as if you say, I don't like the canter, I don't like the canter, but I lit the fire under your butt. So that she wants to go and say, oh my God, and then you just let it out on the inside and the canter is there. If you already ride medium trot almost, she has no way to find the canter from. To lose on the road. Oh. And now it starts to be the most important thing that she does not break. That's the most important thing. Everything else is secondary. So you need to ride that pattern that it's the most likely that she doesn't break. You need to ride that tempo that it's the most likely that she doesn't break. And then you bring her back. It's slow. You bring her back. Go and praise her. Praise her. Bring her together. Don't let her fall apart at that point. With her, at that point, it would not be my usual after the canter forward and more. No, with her, because they fall too much apart. Later that can come. With her, you keep a little more together, more support there. Feel whether you can quiet it down, but with a certain energy, but so that it's more support from the hand, outside the hand down there on the withers. On the inside hand, keep a little asking for inside bend. Don't let it loose. Support a little bit more with the hand. Oh, there. Good. And walk. Good. And forward. When you go to the walk, then she doesn't say walk, walk, no. Walk, and then we walk. And then you can, like I said yesterday, go yeah, and along, along. Good. You still need to look that you improve your reprimands. And where the improvement, for example, comes from is that obviously you are not shy to take the whip there one time and you take the hand, and in one hand, and rip it there. But there's a difference. The point is you see it in that case. Don't separate the means from the goals. You need to see the goal. She has to jump forward. And what you, for example, do with the whole thing is a little bit too slow. And then you need immediately, for example, to judge quickly. Even that was not enough, and you come a second or a third time, right away. Because those horses that are so lazy, they say like, okay, I sit down. I know now this comes. I take breath. Now he hits me. All right, okay, I'm okay. And you need not to let her out. She just says that, okay, it needs to be to that point that the horse comes to a situation saying, oh, what is going on? Yeah? And I know that logically one doesn't want to do that. I mean, some people might say this, that they like that, but in general, most of the riders don't want to do that. Huh? I mean, that's not why we are riding or getting after the horse. But the point is,